Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since I've posted a video because I've been a little bit busy with TAFE and study and all that sort of stuff, and just life gets in the way, and been helping out friends and family with their projects at home. I've also been waiting for a bunch of parts for the good old R6, so a lot of those have come in. I'm still waiting for more. So basically what we've got is a bunch of parts over here. So I'll break different videos, but finally got all of the new levers and handle grips, all the new ones to replace these. So as you can see, these are a little bit old, starting to get a bit rusty, a bit worn out and just out of date. These are still pretty good. They got a little bit of damage on them, but the red sort of just doesn't fit, so of course we are going to go with gold. So all this is going to be gold, all that's going to be gold. The new levers are basically the exact same as these. They're all CNC machined. They're all good quality. They've got your adjusters here, so you can adjust it to whatever you want. I've also got a bunch of new brake lines, which I'm really excited about actually, because if you can see here, they've used like fuel lines. So all these might just be the original ones and they're just extremely old, and as you can see, they're starting to the brake fluid is actually starting to seep out, so they're completely gone. And then also down here too, so you can get in there, you can see little cracks starting to form on this one, and this one was, well, it still is a little bit, it was seeping out brake fluid. It was seeping out a lot more than that. It's kind of dried up a bit now, so I've got all new lines to replace that. But I've also gone out and had some lines made up, all of these lines as well, because I figured if these ones are going, then these ones probably aren't too far behind, so I'd rather replace all of them before I jump on the bike and start riding it, because what happens with these is a lot of heat and pressure builds up in your brake lines, and if they are crap and old and got cracks in them, it'll get to the point after a certain period of riding, they will actually expand and pop, and all the brake fluid will come out. You'll lose your brakes, and worst case scenario, you're taking a corner, you've got no brakes, you're coming in too fast, you are going to come off. So I figured better safe than sorry. So I had all of these made up. Where are they? So these are actually from a place called Hell, so H-E-L. They are based in Australia. I'm not too sure if they provide service for overseas. I'm pretty sure they would. I've used them a lot for cars previously. So basically what they do is you just type in on their website what you have, so whether it's a car or a motorcycle, and they will custom make these by hand to fit. So you can basically pick all of the colors that you want. So you can go your blue line with either your gold fitting or any other color. So of course we are gold and blue, so I have gone with gold and blue, and they look absolutely awesome. So there's two types of blue. There's just your generic blue, and then there's your transparent blue. So I've actually decided to go with the transparent blue because it has more of that sort of dark blue with that violet purple color through it, which matches the paint on the bike really well. And then they come with all of your new fittings and all of your washers. So all of that will be getting replaced. So if you don't know these guys, definitely check them out. They deal with cars, like a whole different variety of cars and motorbikes, and all of these are custom made. They're all braided. They're tested at a ridiculous level until they fail. So these are probably the best quality you're going to get, unless you're going into like race stuff. But they make all this stuff for racing anyway, so this is well and truly enough. You can also get these all covered with like stealth sheathing or covering or whatever it's called. I just left them exposed because I think it adds a little bit more character to it. And then they come with all of your little fittings here that basically just go in here to hold it all in place. So just replaces them. And these are basically a OEM replacement. They fit straight in. So we'll figure out all the lengths and dive into that. I've got these as well. I'm not too sure if I'll use these because I've got a quick release fuel cap, so it's been changed. I think this fits your stock standard fuel cap, so we'll see what we can do with that. But the main thing was replacing this, simply because the last person who owned the bike, when they put it on very crooked, if you can see that. So yeah, my OCD is just gonna go crazy. It's not an exact same one. So obviously this one has like your little side pieces here and the pattern's a little bit different. So the new one that I have is the same gold trim with the carbon fiber, but it's just a different pattern. It still looks good and it says Pro Grip on it too. So you got a little bit of riding and stuff. What else do I have? So these are going to be the replacement lines. So I went with completely transparent because I think that is going to be cool as heck. So these are specifically designed for brake fluid. So basically these are your, I don't know if it says it, yeah, so I don't know if that's gonna, no, it's not gonna focus. So these are basically a Tygon 2375 hose. So that basically means it is compatible with brake fluid and it's not going to start going all crazy like that. So a lot of people use just fuel lines and stuff like that, which theoretically it works because there's no pressure going through these lines. It's just basically your brake fluid's just traveling through them down into your actual brake lines. And these ones here are the ones that actually have all of your pressure going through them. So that's why people usually just use these ones. But again, it's definitely not recommended because brake fluid is very abrasive. It's got like a weird texture to it if you've ever felt it. So what it does with the fuel lines is it just them out. So you may get quite a while out of it, but after a while you will start to see the brake hose deteriorate and then it starts seeping through, which these ones have done. So we've got these. This should be enough to do the top one and then also the rear one as well. So hopefully that's enough, and hopefully I got the right size. I'm pretty sure one of them's a 6mm and the other one's an 8mm, so that should be good. And then I've also got a couple new little hose clamps to go on there if I need to replace any. Another thing too, so hopefully this is working really well. So I ended up getting a new mic because my old one broke. This was just a temporary one anyway. It was like 60 bucks. This little transmitter part here doesn't want to work anymore. So I've actually upgraded to the DJI one. So this is the DJI mini mic. Comes with 2 mics, your transmitter, which is really cool. Comes with like a little bag as well. And then these little fluffy parts here. Comes with like 4 of those, which is cool. And then the mics are like clip on, or which is really cool, you can actually magnetize them to stuff. So you can magnetize it to the side of your bike while you're working on it, or your car, or whatever you want to do. It's really cool. That was pretty cheap. It was $199, but that's on sale. So originally I think they're around $250, but yeah, I've tested out the mic. It sounds 10 times better than the original one I had. So this one should last me for a very long time. But yeah, so that's basically everything I've got to go on there. There's a couple more things up there, but I'll leave them for later. So today, basically, what I'm gonna do is, I think I'll start off with the more difficult one first. So getting all of the brake lines out and replacing those. So I'm doing front and rear. So I think I'll start off with these first. And the rear one, I'll have to take that out again, and then yeah, I'll do that first, and then I will start getting all of these out and get them all figured out. I gotta match up the lengths as well, so to make sure that I've got the right ones going in the right place. But yeah, I'll get everything set up. If you're doing this as well, just have a bunch of rags handy, and just have like a bottle of water or your hose or something on standby in case the brake fluid decides to go everywhere. Just tip water on it straight away, get it off the bike, get it off any paint that it's gone on before it starts eating away at it. Water basically just washes it all away, and just have your rags ready to wipe up everything. So yeah, I'll get everything set up, I'll get everything I need. I'll have a quick look at all of these lines and just get all the right lengths, because they're all different lengths. So I'll figure out which length goes to which, and then once I've figured all that out and get everything ready, I will get straight into it. Kill beans. I forgot to mention as well, I've got new ones of these. So if you remember from the last episodes previously, when I'd done the brake pads and all that sort of stuff and re-bled and got all the old crap, all the crap brake fluid out, these were actually seized. So I got them out, but they're just not accepting, they're just not extracting your brake fluid out of it when you bleed them. So I'll take them out as well, and I've got two new ones to go in. Of course, we've gone with gold again. These were optional too. So these are actually from Pro Bolt. They have a lot of stuff. So if you're looking for good quality bolts or anything like that, or your bleeding nipples, these are the go-to. The rear ones are fine, or the rear one is fine, sorry. And yeah, I also got this too because the original one was crap. I'm pretty sure this one will work. I've done a quick Google on it, and this is basically just like one of your generic ones, and it came up with this code. It says that this code will fit it, so hopefully it works and I can replace that too. And I have a bunch of leftover brake fluid from the last one I done. I barely used any, so I got another one just in case I need it, because obviously we're going to be re-bleeding all of the lines again, so it is definitely going to take a bit more. So I'll use this stuff first for bleeding. With this one, I'm just going for the Super Dot 4. This one's good. You can upgrade to the 5.1, and then beyond the 5.1 is your it's brake fluid 600, which is basically a Super Dot 4 plus. So that's like sort of your top of the line stuff that you use for racing cars and everything like that. This is still used for racing, and I'm pretty sure this will be more than enough. I've always just used generic stuff anyway, and when I've gone up mountain ridings and I've been pretty hard on the brakes, I've never had any issues with it anyway. So if anything, that's going to be an upgrade, and it's going to be more than I'll ever need. I've had another quick look at these, so it is a bit weird. So it's a bit hard to sort of get them all lined up. So what I'll do is I'll do one at a time and then line it up with one of these new ones, and whichever one's the closest to it, I will do that. And then yeah, but first of all, I'm going to start off with these. So I'll get these all fitted in. I'll do this one first, and then I'm pretty sure that's the 6mm. And I'm going to be replacing these two because these ones are all rusty and crappy. And then the 8mm one, I believe it's an 8mm. If it's not an 8mm, it's a 6mm again too. So hopefully I should have enough. So I'm only going to be taking off the tiniest bit for that. And then if it is the 6, then I can use the rest of that on here. I'm just going to reuse these ones because they're still quite good. But yeah, I'll do that first. So the goal is to sort of take that out again and quickly just replace the line without losing too much of it, and then leave it out while I bleed it because it's in a shit of a spot. But yeah, the goal was to get the hard part out of the way first, so then I can just chill out for the rest of the day and do the easy jobs while I throw back a few beers. You don't want to be doing this stuff while you're getting intoxicated, because you're gonna take forever to do it and forget what you're doing. That's usually the way it goes. So yeah, we'll hold off on the beers for as long as we can, and we'll get that done. So yeah, I'll get this set up and we'll jump straight into it now. Alrighty, so I've got all that set up. had to cut a bit more off of it to get it in there nicely. So now it's not kinked. I've let it sit for a little while and the kink has slowly worked its way out. It was only kinked because I was forcing it in and bending it, so made a bit of a weak point, but now it's out, which is good. I'm gonna leave it all disconnected. I won't put the zip ties on just yet because I'm gonna be moving it around and getting this out just to fill it up, to bleed it. I think I'm gonna start off with not the rear one, the front ones, because they're a bit more of a headache. So I've basically taken off this little bracket here that holds this in, because when it was in there, it was sitting here and in the way of that bolt there. So getting that out of the way will allow you to just have that access and pull it out, because with that little bracket in, it was actually a little bit over here, so you wouldn't be able to pull it out. I gave them a quick label, so left and right. I've done it on the on the bottom part of it too. But I'm not really gonna need it anyway, but I just done it just in case, because I was planning on pulling them both out, but I figured what I'll do is I'll get it out, I'll get this bolt out, and then just pull off the left side. So the left side runs down underneath this part here and then down to the left side of the caliper. So left side looking at the bike from this way, basically. So I'll pull that out and I'll just leave it off to the side, and then I'll pull the right one out, and then I'll take the right one out completely. So disconnect it from here and down from the bottom, and then just match it up with the one of these, because all three of these are different lengths. So I'll match it up with the one that's the right length or close enough, and then basically just do one at a time. So once that one's done and the new one's in, I will take the left one completely out, measure it up, put it all back together, make sure that this is all topped up. So when I'm doing it, I'm gonna probably take this off and make sure that it's remained topped up. So all the fluid is just gonna gravity feed down the lines and fill up on their own. And then once that's all done, I'll move on to the rear one. I'll do the rear one because the rear one's gonna be simple. It's all there, it's in your face. This one's pretty self-explanatory. You just follow the route. It's hard to see with the camera, but this one here basically runs all the way underneath. So just follow it, do one at a time. The only hard part about it is that it's just squishy and there's no room, but you'll eventually get it done. So, and then it makes its way out to the bottom here, so you have to undo them as well and get them all in there. So we'll do that. We'll get the front part done first, because that is the most annoying part, and then we'll work our way down to the back of it and go from there. Cool, I'll get this set up. But yeah, again, just have rags ready to go, because it'll get a little bit messy here. So have your rags ready, have your water ready, and yeah, just if it spills on your paint, just get it off with the water really quickly. But yeah, we'll grab all the tools for this and we'll get into it. Hopefully that from over here this is good enough. Yeah, that should be all right. Alrighty, so they're all done. That one's done. This one's done over here. This one was a lot easier. So that's all good. That's all tight. That's all tight. They look awesome. They're a lot better than the stock ones. They're a lot thinner because when you look at the stock ones, they're just big, fat, bulky things in comparison. So having these nice slimline ones, streamline, sorry, are really good. Yeah, it just makes it look that much more modern, just much better. So now, up to the top part now, so we'll do this part, we'll get them all sorted out. I'll get that little fitting and I'll show you how this all works. I'll try and get this camera set up a bit better on top of the bike. It's a bit weird when it gets to this point, but yeah, I'll try and get it set up in a good spot. Alrighty, so I got it set up a little better. So basically, I believe it, what is this one? So the left one, sorry, the right side one will go in first. Oh, everything's gonna fall apart, okay. All right, this is sort of the best I can do. So yeah, the right side one on the right fork will go in first, and then the left side one on the left side fork here will go in last. So I'll get out the bigger one. So with the top part, you have a longer one. You see it, and it's got like that little bridge section there. So for this one, we're gonna need 3 of these washers. Let me just check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep, so 3. We're gonna chuck one on first, right to the end. And then we're going to chuck on the right side one first. So once that's slipped over, we will get another copper washer and chuck that over, so it's sandwiched. So the idea is we're just sandwiching these little gold pieces. And then, again for this one, sorry, they're a bit hard to maneuver. Come on. You can do it, come on. Alrighty. And then you want to try and get it over. Let me get over the other side. You want to try and get it over that little bridge part so it's sitting on there nicely. Okay. And then lucky last, copper washer. So in the end, you're sort of going to have something that looks like that. So you got one at the very beginning there, one in the center, and one at the very end. So once you have that, we are good to start screwing it back into its home, which is straight in here. But I want to try and get these worked out a bit better because it's a bit fucking messy at the moment. Okay. It does take a little bit of maneuvering around, especially with fresh lines, fresh braided lines. They're still quite stiff, so yeah, just take your time with it and maneuver them as best you can and get it in there as best you can. God, what a mission. Oh, yeah, don't do that. Oh. Probably go get a ratchet spanner or something for that. So when you're tightening them up, just push down on the cables. Just make sure they're all down flat and they're where you want them to sit, because once you tighten it up, that's where they're going to be staying. So if they're leaning on anything or too bowed out or anything like that, just fix them up. And again, don't go too tight with this either. I'm using quite a long wrench, so I'm going to go down from the very bottom so I don't have much leverage. So we'll do that. Just hold those hoses as well, because they will move on you. Cool. That looks pretty well good. So basically, your end result is just going to look pretty much like that. Nice and clean. I've got them in nice and straight, nice and good. So they're fine. I'll need to get in there with the 10mm and tighten up those two brackets down there as well, those hard to get ones. But that's basically what they look like, so that's pretty good. I'll get those two 10mm bolts on those brackets in there tightened up, and then I'll move on to bleeding the front and get that all done and get that all working. Alrighty, so that's all done. I got all those brackets down there tightened up, those little 10mm. Usually people would just not even worry about putting them back in and they'd leave it all loose, but I'm not the type of person to do that. I like to put it all back together the way it went, the way it came apart, just for that peace of mind, you know, so you know it's all back in there nice and well. So yeah, this is all set up down here. I've taken out the old shitty bleeding nipple because this one was just crap. You can see it's all corroded and shit. So I've chucked in the new one. I've got the little bottle on it ready to bleed it. So basically with this one, you're just going to be pumping through all the fluid from the top while ensuring that it's filled up. So I'll get that all happening now. I'll set the camera up like this. I'm going to go around to the other side and start pumping it and see if I can get this going. I'm just going to do one side at a time. It's a little bit hard to see from over here, but I'll do my best. Okay, let's see what's going on. So the lever's very loose, so it'll take a while to get it through. It's got a lot of air in it. So we'll tighten it back up. So I just got to fill it back up. Top up the reservoir from the top. Alrighty, so I've set up for bleeding it now. When you change your lines, you're really meant to have a caliper bleeder as well, which basically like pumps and sucks it through, so it just speeds up the process by a lot. So when you go to bleed it, you'll be pulling your brake lever up the top and you just won't feel any pressure whatsoever. So you can see that bubbles are coming out. So I'm just doing it this way. So when I release that, I've got the brake lever held all the way down. And then when I tighten it back up, I hold the lever. So once it's tight, then I can release and then continue pumping. Because if I release while that's loose, it's gonna suck all those bubbles, air bubbles back in. So what I'm doing now is I'm just pumping, and then release. And you can see all the bubbles and fluid coming through. So while you do this, you want to keep an eye on your brake reservoir at the top to keep topping it up, because if you don't top it up, it's gonna go empty and then just suck through more air, and then you're just back to square one. So because I don't have a caliper bleeder, I'm gonna have to do it this way. So it is going to take me a very long time. So I'll be doing this side and the other side. Yeah, so I'll just keep doing that until I start to get some pressure building up in the brake lever. So yeah, it's just extremely crucial that you keep an eye on that brake reservoir at the top and you keep topping it up with brake fluid. And yeah, it's just very long and tedious. So I recommend, if you're doing this, if you don't already have one, go and get yourself a caliper bleeder. It just speeds up the process and sucks all of the air out of your new lines really quickly and speeds up the entire process. So yeah, I'll continue on with this and hopefully we can get it done soon. Alrighty, so that's all done, that's all bled. That took a little while. I had to keep going from this side to the other side, this side, other side. Eventually, like when you do one side, you will start to notice like the very faintest bit of, you know, friction in the handle, pressure, sorry, in the handle. And you'll see that the current will stop having bubbles in it too. So once the bubbles decrease quite significantly, just shut it off, move everything over to the other side, start doing the other side, the exact same thing with the lever. So just keep pressing it in a few times. You don't need to go super fast. You can just have like a nice sort of a pace about it, and then, like I said, hold it in and then release that nipple down there. And when you release it, you'll feel that this handle will actually collapse in even further and push out the brake fluid from here. So basically just do it until you have a proper stream of brake fluid coming through with just no bubbles in it whatsoever. So it's pretty much what I done there. I got it to the point where I kept switching over to sides. all the bubbles are out. I will come back in the morning and do another quick bleed on it again, just to make sure that no bubbles have resurfaced overnight, and get it all done. So I've topped it all up. I'm just gonna let it all sit like this overnight. I've ran out of time today, so I won't be able to do the bottom one today. So I'll continue the video tomorrow and get all that done. But yeah, for now, that's pretty good, and it's looking really cool too. So yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, so that's pretty much how you go about doing that. Once you've finished everything off too, if you've had brake fluid go everywhere, just tip water all over it. Water basically is its weakness and will get rid of everything. So I'm gonna pack up now and continue on the video tomorrow. Alrighty guys, so I have completely finished off doing all of the brake relines and the brake bleeding. The brake bleeding takes quite a long time, so be prepared to be sitting there for a while, unless you've got a, what do you call it, a caliper bleeder, which will allow you to do that whole process a lot quicker. Left my spanner on the nipple. But yeah, so all of the, where are they actually? All the old brake lines are here. So yeah, just your old big bulky ones, and this is the rear all finished. Yeah, they're all in there nice. Not a huge fan of that, but I suppose it's not going to move anywhere, so it's as good as that's going to get. I might try and get like a different sort of a bracket for it later maybe, and make it work a little bit better. But yeah, I've got it sitting on off the stands at the moment because I am going to hose out all of this area and hose off the bike as well, because I tell myself all the time that I'm not going to get the brake fluid anywhere, but every single time I mess around with the brake fluid, I get the shit everywhere without fail. So I'm going to hose all the bike off. If you get it on your bike, just try and get it off straight away, because it will eat paint, even like plastics and stuff. It'll fade the plastic, all that sort of shit. So just get it off as quick as you can. Don't let it sit, because yeah, won't be pretty. So yeah, I'm gonna give all of this a hose off, and then give it a quick dry off and chuck it back up in here on the stands, and get it ready basically for the next video. So I'm gonna start doing that now, which is I'm gonna do all these handlebars here and the levers and the stickers and whatnot. Yeah, I thought I would have gotten a bit more done yesterday. So yesterday I actually started doing the brake relines, and the fronts just took me forever because I had to keep going from this side to that side and, you know, purging out all of that, all the air in the system. I think that took me, geez, like 30 minutes or so just to get all the air out of the lines. You'll really know when the air's out of the lines because you'll go from pumping the brake lever a bunch of times to only pumping it twice, and then it's just rock hard. You'll release it and then the stream will come out really nice. You'll have like little micro air bubbles, so go a little bit more, and then eventually all of those little bubbles will just completely disappear out of the system, which is what you want. So yeah, everything's working, everything's good. Yeah, so get all this hosed off and ready for the next episode. So again, thanks for tuning in. Sorry about the delay in the upload. I've just been super busy with stuff, but I'm getting a bit more time now, so I'll be able to jump back into it and get it all done. And yeah, hopefully more content will just keep rolling in. And I've got to save up a bit more money too to get a new project on the way. So I have no idea what I'm going to get next. It's definitely going to be another bike, but just a matter of what bikes are going to be. I wouldn't mind possibly like a dirt bike or something, that'd be cool. Or like an old cafe racer style, like the old KZ or YJ, Yamaha and Kawasaki, the 650 or 750 models. That would be pretty cool. Or if I can get my hand on a sort of an old school Harley, that would be awesome. I've had a Street 500 before, and they're a blast to ride. I know Harleys get a lot of shit, but when you ride them, they're so fun. This is actually a 1992 Softail Heritage Classic, so it's the one that's out of the Terminator movie, but the one out of the Terminator movie was a 91 and a bit of a Frankenstein build. But yeah, this one is super nice. Just got it on charge at the moment. We need to get a new battery for it because this one's not the right one. It was just a temporary one, but other than that, everything works on it. Everything's awesome. It's a really awesome bike. Yeah, if I can get my hands on a Harley for the next project, an old school one, maybe like a 70s or an 80s model, that would be awesome, but they're really hard to get these days. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.